What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking all about kickoffs. Kickoffs are the only thing that are guaranteed in every single Rocket League game you play, so developing a strong, fast, and consistent kickoff is a big key to winning a lot of your games. In this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know, from the mechanics behind a good kickoff, to reading your opponent, to the strats needed to win in 1s, 2s, and 3s. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and buckle it up, because this video is full of opinions. Seriously, there's no guaranteed way to ensure that you're going to win a kickoff. This is just what I've found to work best across more than 6,000 hours of playing Rocket League. Let's go. Alright, so let's just rattle off some general rules that are accepted by the entire Rocket League community. Just keep in mind that these all apply unless otherwise stated. Number 1, the closest person should go for the ball, which, if you don't know, looks like this. Number 2, if people are the same distance from the ball, the person on the left goes. And number 3, you should always have someone cheating behind the kickoff. Remember, those are all just default rules. Sometimes mixing it up is really powerful, and we'll get a lot more into those strategies later. First, let's take a look at what makes a good kickoff. For a standard kickoff, you want to get to the ball fast, you want to hit it dead center, and you want to flip to the side you want to win it to. Let's start with how to get to the ball fast. You definitely already know what a speed flip is, unless you've been living under a rock, and if that's the case, it's just hands down the fastest way to get to the ball off kickoff. There's already a ton of tutorials out there on YouTube, as well as the training packs that are linked in the description of this video, but for those who are visual learners, here's 3 different speeds of the inputs on how to perform a speed flip. My controls here are close to the defaults. I just have standard air roll bound to the left bumper, and then pressing in the control stick is just a product of holding the controller tightly. The most important thing to look out for here is when I pull the control stick down to cancel my flip and then flick it back forward to readjust. Once you get to high ranked play, speed flipping is standard on kickoff. If nobody says anything and you just want to go for a normal one, your best bet is to speed flip. A little tip for if you are going to go into these training packs: give it a second for your car to settle on the ground first, just so that you're getting very consistent results and you'll know if you're speed flipping right. If you're holding the gas or other inputs before your car has the chance to settle, you're starting the timer early and you're not going to get good feedback on whether or not you're doing the mechanic correctly. In my opinion, speed flipping is the best option on kickoff, and it's definitely worth putting in the time to learn it. It can be really hard to do consistently, so let's talk about some of the other approaches you can take towards kickoff as well. First, there's the kickoff where you just hold boost and drive towards the ball and flip right when you reach it. It's easy to do, it's consistent, and only really gets countered by a perfect speed flip. Really great kickoff for beginners. Next, we have the early wave dash kickoff. This one's really for kids who eat glue and sit when they pee. Don't do this. It's easy to read, easy to mess up, and doesn't accomplish anything more than a standard flip would get you. Next, we have the late wave dash kickoff. This one is for King Giga Chad Sigma males who are going to destroy you in a 1v1 and score 25 goals. Done correctly, this kickoff prioritizes the recovery right after the 50-50, and it's generally one of the fastest ways to recover off kickoff. The keys to doing this right are to save your flip, hit the ball dead center, and hold air roll to absorb the 50-50. This is an excellent kickoff, hard to master, most useful in 1v1s. Next, we have the slow kickoff. If you're tired of getting destroyed on kickoff by someone who's just 10 times faster than you, then this is your best option. This one is the paper to the speed flips rock. For this one, you're intentionally slowing down your kickoff just a little bit, banking on the fact that your opponent is going to get there fast and knock the ball straight into the nose of your car. Like the last one, this is a possession play and can be really effective when done right, but it's a little bit risky. Mid-tier kickoff. Lastly, we have the fake kickoff. I'm going to talk about this one a lot more when I get into the strategies of 2s and 3s kickoffs, but once again, this is a possession play. In a 1v1, this is best used on the diagonal kickoff because you want to guarantee that you get the boost and the ball. If you do this on the straightaway, there's a high chance someone just slots this into your back corner, or they'll recover the boost and leave you on the back foot. There are pros and cons to learning all of these kickoff strategies, so it's important to have them all in your toolkit for mix-ups. Except for the early wave dash kickoff, I still hate this one. Now that you know all the approaches to taking kickoffs, let's talk about the strategies for 2s and 3s. The first thing that applies to both game modes is cheating up on the kickoff. This should be standard practice for a good reason. As you might have noticed on the approaches, the most important thing is getting possession of the ball. If you and your teammate aren't in comms with each other and they just go for a standard kickoff, it's more than likely that the ball just pops out somewhere close to them, but they won't have the boost to recover it. If nothing is said before the kickoff, you should be cheating up every single time. By following your kickoffer up the field, you're instantly fighting for possession of the ball, denying your opponents an easy shot on your net, and if the ball flies towards your back corner, you can go get that boost you were after anyways. A common point of confusion here is who's gonna get the mid boost after this kind of kickoff happens, and a majority of the time, the person who cheated up for the ball will also get the mid boost. This is because they already have the momentum and the read on the play, and they're able to use it a lot more effectively than the person who just took the kickoff. There are some occasions where the player who took the kickoff gets a lot of momentum towards the mid boost, and in these rare cases, you should still leave that for your teammate, but more often than not, the person cheating will take the mid boost. Just make sure whatever you do, you don't take both the back and the middle boost. That also leads me to back left and back right kickoffs. Going for your own corner boost off of kickoff is a good strategy, so long as you let your teammate know. As the person who's not going for the ball, it's your job to communicate where you're gonna be, or else your teammate will just assume that you're cheating up the field. Pro tip if you're the person who's going for the kickoff, if you want to get a nice roll to your teammate, try to make sure that your opponent hits the ball before you do, so you're just guiding it to the side you want to lose it to. Now we get into one of my favorite kickoffs, which is the 2v2 fake kickoff. This one you usually only see from this position, and that's because it's the easiest to execute. Have your front man fake at the ball, and then turn for the boost and get ready for a pass. A really common mistake here is not selling the fake, so the person who's going for the kickoff has to make sure to get really close to the ball and convince the opponents that they're gonna actually hit it. As the goalkeeper, your options are to pass it high or pass it low. Most people like to pass the ball high up. It looks sweet, and it's pretty cool when you hit it, it feels awesome, but the success rate is kinda low. The less used and frankly more successful option here is to keep the pass low to your teammate. If they're able to get possession of the ball here and not just launch an immediate shot, then they have the threat of shooting themselves or passing to you, which results in a lot more goals off of kickoff. As you climb the ranks, your opponents may start to read this, so as the person who's staying in net, it can be a good idea to fake at the boost and then turn back right to the center of the field. Now let's talk about another one of my favorites, the Spanish kickoff. This is the same exact setup as the standard fake kickoff, except in this one, the player who's going for the ball doesn't go and grab the boost, but instead chases down the last remaining defender to just clear the way for an open net shot. Super disrespectful, super useful, and honestly worth doing at least once per game. The last 2v2 strategy is the intentional double commit, and this kickoff is super risky, and I've only ever really used it in the final seconds of a game when our team is desperate for a goal and really needs to make sure that the kickoff goes onto the opponent's side. If you made it to this point in the video, just a reminder to please like and subscribe. I'm a small channel doing free coaching, and it goes a really long way. Thanks. Now let's look at the strategies for 3v3 kickoffs. With the amount of players on the field in threes, there's really not that many out-of-the-box strategies you can use. The main things you gotta be aware of is who's gonna cheat and who's gonna go get back boost. As second and third man, the general rules are that someone gets the boost behind the kickoffer and the closer person cheats up. Most of the situations are pretty clear, except for ones like this, where the person who's closer up should be the one cheating just because they have that distance for free. You should always be taking the boost behind your kickoffer because it's easier for them to lose the ball to this side, and their momentum is going to carry them to the opposite side of the field, and you want to make sure you have as much area covered as possible. Because your opponents are also going to be covering a lot of the field, it's usually preferable to go with a back left or back right kickoff, and your cheater is the contingency plan in case something goes wrong. There are two kickoff spawns that are exceptions to this rule, the first being the double diagonal. Usually you'll see the guy on the right side just backflipping while the guy in net cheats up, and the second one is where everyone's spawning in net. Same thing here where the guy on the right goes for boost and the guy in net cheats up. This spawn, however, is also an opportunity for the greatest kickoff strat ever developed, the double fake. Have both the front players fake at the ball and get ready for the greatest passing play of your life. The beauty of this kickoff strat is that the opposition doesn't always shoot a straight line right at your net, so your last man gets to decide who to pass to first. This kickoff is incredibly hard to pull off, so major style points if you do it. There's really not much else in threes aside from following the general rules, so don't be afraid to mix and match with any of the things you learned previously, and remember to always communicate what you're gonna do with your teammates. And with that, I hope you were able to learn something. Let me know in the comments if you feel like there's anything that I missed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.